except when you count her natural wealth. They don't have a Kmart here, but they do have a waterfall. They don't have a five-star restaurant, but they do have spectacular sunsets. If only they could tax beauty, Hancock County would be raking in the dough.
Well, as you can see, it's small, but it's a nice town to live in. You know, the people are friendly, everyone seems to want to help one another, but it needs to prosper, I think.
That's for certain. A third of the income earned here is government aid, so they keep things simple here. In Sneedville, you go to court on Court Street and go to jail on Jail Street. This is life unadorned.
Back in the late 30s, 40s, early 50s, our total population was around 15,000. It dwindled down to 5,500, 5,000. Now it's back up to around 6,800. There are no big ticket items here to sell. For example, when I was a boy here in Hancock County, we had a Chevrolet dealership, we had a Ford dealership, and a Chrysler dealership. All three of those have ceased to exist.
So Hancock Countyans have to drive outside their home county to do most of their shopping. All of that sales tax money flows over the mountains, while down below, Sneedville struggles.
You know, hell, if you quadrupled and doubled the taxes, you know, there's nothing there to tax.
This poem is saying that life goes on even when there's no one there to see it, yeah.
Hancock County is the poorest county in Tennessee. It is a status that weighs like an anchor on this community's school children.
Every day its shadow leans, crouches, and walks away eastward in one measured stride, exactly right for its own way of being.
For every $2 their county spends on education, Metro Nashville spends $3 on its students.
You explain it to us now.
Because of where they were born, these students receive 30% less money for school.
We do need good education. I don't care how small or big the place is. Children need the same education everywhere, I think.
I'll sign this one. On page 103, Civilizing the Child. I want you to read that to us.
I would think that most people around here want their children to have a good education because they know how rough they've had it in the past, and they know that education is where everything lies.
Janie Keaton is the student council president and a star basketball player at Hancock County High.
If you can't get the ball, you come down and set the pick and let Janie get it. Who's supposed to be throwing her the ball?
One reason she likes basketball so much is because it's one of the few extras that students are exposed to here. There is no physical education in elementary school, no music, no art classes. And unless this county can find more money for school, there may be no school at all. A month ago, the county parked its school buses to save money. A third of the children had no way to get to school, so they fell even further behind.
But that's a sad situation to be in, not to be able to educate the kids. You know, our kids need more, they deserve better. And just because you were born across the county line and the adjoining county spends $3,800 per pupil and all you're spending is $2,100 per pupil, you know, that just doesn't make it right. It's not possible for the county to pay what it legally has to pay, electricity bills, local teacher supplements, transportation and all that type of thing. It's not possible for this county to pay it.
Mike Andrikin and 65 other Tennessee school superintendents are suing the state of Tennessee. Since the people in smaller counties cross county borders to shop in cities, the smaller counties want the richer cities to hand over some of their sales tax.
You know, they build their Walmarts and their Kmarts to get our business, and we're happy for them to go over there. So, you know, if that's our money to begin with, it looks like we ought to be able to get some of it back.
You need to slow down that reading. You're still too fast.
Nancy Ramsey is the kind of teacher that every parent hopes will teach their children. She is the sort of teacher who smiles when a student reads a poem with just the right inflection. She has a master's degree and is working on a doctorate. 18 years in Hancock County classrooms.
We'll have that one memorized before it's over.
She worries that when a school system cuts corners to save money, it sends a signal to students that it is good enough just to scrape by.
Without college or some kind of educational background, there isn't much to offer except factory work.
In fact, half of Hancock County adults did not make it through the 9th grade.
You know, if you don't do something to break the chain, you're just going to keep adding to the breadline. Parents get up in the morning, they don't know whether or not the school buses are going to run. Teachers don't know whether or not the check is going to be there at the end of the month to pay their bills or not. Those distractions alone have a large, large cost in terms of sacrifice to our kids.
And I want you to come up. You got your voice low. I want you to come up with it, okay?
These kids' families pay comparable sales tax to other parts of the state. Compared to their income, they have a higher tax burden than most of the state. But today's tax system leaves them wanting, and 2/3 of the counties in the state stake the same claim.
Wherever you can get by, whatever number of teachers, or the smallest number of teachers you can possibly put in a building, with the largest number of kids, that's exactly the way you do it to get by. Not necessarily because that's the best educational way to go, but economics. Economics has come to play such a role.
The foothills don't insulate rural Tennessee from the glare of the world as they once did. It's nature's unfair exchange. I'll give you a waterfall, but the mountains that form its ledges will seal you from prosperity. If small, poor counties don't find a way out, their scenery will be pretty, but their futures won't be.